Let's turn to our first guest of the day, Ellen Miller, Iowa coordinator for Mary's Meals, talking about the upcoming Race to Feed Kids Mother's Day weekend. Ellen, thank you for coming on the Catholic Morning Show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, let's get to it. For people who don't have they haven't had the privilege yet, I should say, of knowing what Mary's Meals is, could you go ahead and tell us about Mary's Meals?
Yes, Mary's Meals feeds children at their place of education in 16 developing countries, feeding over 3 million kids a day at the global cost of $25.20 per child for an entire school year.
And this has been going on for quite a while, the connection between Mary's Meals and Iowa. So, I think people have ran into you guys in various venues. Christ Our Life, I think, is, of course, where a lot of people have ran into you guys. But maybe just talk about the history of Mary's Meals and Iowa Catholics, and Iowa in general, being such a wonderful partnership with them.
Yes, we invited the founder of Mary's Meals, Magnus McFarland Barrow, to the very first Christ Our Life conference in 2010. Can you believe that? And my son Mike was so inspired by the message of feeding children at school, and taking care of just their way of handling the world poverty, that is on in the world. So he got involved with Mary's Meals, found himself moving to Africa, where he lived for 11 years in Liberia and Malawi. Then I found myself visiting my son in those countries and visiting the children of Mary's Meals, which inspired us to host the Race to Feed Kids. We figure if children around the world are walking a 5K, one way to school every day, why not try to do the same here in Iowa and feed children as we do it?
Well, and that's an easy segue into what we were going to talk about next. What is the Race to Feed Kids? How long have you guys been doing it? And what is, like you said, all of the ways in which this benefits folks?
This is our 13th year. Again, when my son moved to Africa, we thought, hey, why not try this on this side of the world and support his work? So it is on May 9th. It is held at the Women's Achievement Bridge on the east side. The race time starts at 9, but you can sign up at 8 o'clock. It's very family-friendly. It's a timed race. Oh, my goodness, we have so many fun things to do for kids, such as the games that children play in the schoolyard in Malawi, where I have visited many times. So we have that for kids. You can go to the Race to Feed Kids sign-up. It's on the runner's sign-up there. But what we do every year is we do our best to feed the children at Mcheza School, which is in Malawi. And they have over 800 kids there that are needing to be fed. So every registration feeds a child for an entire school year. So it's a way for you to make an impact on Mother's Day weekend. I always say it's my idea of the best gift to give a mother is to feed another mother's vulnerable child. So, we'd love to see you come on down. You can sign up early, or you can sign up the day of.
So with, talking about last year and the impact you're able to make, and maybe give a challenge of what you're trying to do this year.
Oh, goodness. Well, every year, just even thinking about the challenge of feeding an entire school. So this is Mcheza School. This is our school, and we own it. We feel very dedicated to trying to make an impact in the lives of the children in this village. So over 800 kids being fed at the school at Mcheza. Every runner, every walker has that opportunity to feed a child for an entire school year. It takes an hour of your time, and you can make an impact for an entire school year for a child on the other side of the world.
Well, let's hear more about, you gave a background to your story, but what is it like to go over to Malawi and to tell maybe about the community there and the opportunities you've had to get to know the people who benefit from this effort?
I always say, so for Mary's Meals, they feed the children in their country what the children like, what is their staple food. So in Malawi, it is corn flour crushed into soy mixed with vitamins fed to the children each and every morning, right? So when I go onto the school grounds, the first reaction, of course, is the joy of the children. They greet me with such happiness and wanting to shake my hand and sometimes getting in line to shake my hand again. It's so beautiful. But then I'm pulled into the classroom with the teachers, and they are giving me, and that thanks goes on to all of you, but they're just thanking me thanking me for, caring about their children. To feed them at school is making an impact to these teachers because the kids now are getting to school on time. Their bellies are full, so now they can concentrate in the classroom, and they now have eyes to see for a better tomorrow. And the volunteer cooks, they're always around the pot, this pot that serves 300, singing God's praises for people like your listeners who are dedicating their time, to coming to a race or coming to the Jasper concert for Mary's Meals. Sharing their little acts of love is changing the lives of their children on the other side of the world. And then the peace that it brings to the parents. I always say it's so much more than a cup of porridge, because now these kids aren't coming home hungry at the end of a school day. It doesn't cause conflict within the home. These children, these parents now have the peace knowing their children have had at least one meal today, and that was at their place of education. And the kids in the schoolyard and the joy and the tricks and the fun things that they like to show me that they do, it is absolutely a playground of celebration.
Well, when it comes to being able to have this sort of effect, this sort of relationship ongoing, not only just across the world, but within the group of people here in the Iowa Catholic Radio listening area that have made this effort, made these sacrifices to do this year over year, what is it, the experience for you, the cumulative effect, right, of a group of people who put forth their time, talent, and treasure towards this, not only in pulling off something, like you said, that is fun to do, like on Mother's Day weekend, but that this becomes part and parcel of just the culture of trying to help people in need?
Well, the beauty is Mary's Meals itself, in the United States, our hub in the United States always says that Iowa has the biggest outreach. It has the most little acts of love going around the whole USA in making that impact. And when I go into the classrooms and teach kids in the United States about Mary's Meals, they are so inspired that they can share their little act of love and make a difference. I mean, for $25.20 feeding a child for an entire school year, they're like, hey, I can do that. I can have a lemonade stand, or we can do something at school where we don't have to wear our uniforms and we can all donate. It's 13 cents. 13 cents to feed a child for a day, 25 for an entire school year. So I think it reminds kids that, yes, they can make a difference. And it reminds the kids on the other side of the world that they're not forgotten.
Well, if you don't mind also telling folks about maybe, if not Magnus himself, but Mary's Meals itself and its expansion, if you can give some details of that, because even that, the story of just its growth, I think, is very inspiring to help people realize that small initial efforts really can grow into something worldwide, very big, and very helpful for so many people.
Yes, and in fact, I don't know if some of your listeners remember, but boy, when Magnus came in 2010, they were feeding 400,000 kids, and now they're feeding over 3 million, with 4 million being just around the corner, So how beautiful is that? And when we first brought Magnus back for the second Christ Our Life conference, we were like, well, we're wondering how this is going to be received. Are they going to think, oh, I've heard of Mary's Meals, let's move on to a new charity? But what has happened is this beautiful relationship has developed between Christ Our Life and Mary's Meals and the friendship of Magnus. And we realize that behind this movement is prayer. And Magnus is a prayer warrior like no other, and he always is encouraging us that without prayer, this works. It's not filled. It's not fulfilled. It's like it takes all of us to pray for this movement, to then take action in this movement to make an impact on these children. It's a global. I don't know. It's global, but it's so personal, and it's just such an honor to be a part of it.
Global enough that Pope Leo received a mug and a shirt from Mary's Meals while on a plane to Africa just like a week or so ago.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
And to show the sort of way in which, like you said, it allows local groups to have a global impact and to be able to, like you said, connect to our brothers and sisters across the world. Well, as we're getting here towards the end, one more time, we want to make sure that people know all of the details. So let's recap this one more time. When it comes to the Race to Feed Kids on Mother's Day weekend, what can everybody expect?
Oh, everybody can expect. Well, they can expect to feed a child for an entire school year. They can expect to see people who are out wanting to walk that walk with the children, to take that next step in making an impact in their lives. It's so much fun. We have great music. We have a timer ready to go. We have fun games. We have snacks, or treats, as you would say, donuts and oranges and bananas, and just being together as a community to remind each other that we really can make a difference in the lives of children around the world, vulnerable children who are waiting, to have that next meal, to fill their empty bellies and to give them hope in a classroom. We can make that impact when we come together.
And the way that you can do this, folks, is you go to runsignup.com. So runsignup.com, runsignup.com, and you can find Mary's Meals Race to Feed the Kids, Saturday, May 9th, 2026. It even has a countdown timer. It's 18 days away, for instance, if people needed to know. And if you get a chance, you go there, you can sign up, you can get everything ready to go. And then, of course, beyond, like you said, the runners themselves, there's just all sorts of wonderful things going on. And we truly hope people get a chance to do this wonderful work and be a part of feeding kids across the world and being the helping hand that so many people need. Ellen Miller is the Iowa coordinator for Mary's Meals, Iowa's Race to Feed Kids for Mother's Day weekend. Like we said one more time, runsignup.com. Ellen, thank you for coming on the Catholic Morning Show.
Hey, thank you for having me, and come on down and challenge yourself. See if you can win a medal for the Race to Feed Kids. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We appreciate it.